Welcome to Canada Unboxes review of the Philips Somneo. As far as I know, this is actually the first review on YouTube of this product. It just recently launched and hit the markets. It is an updated version of Philips' original Sunlight or Sun clock, as you could call it. But basically it's a clock that lights up to help you wake up, and it also plays sound as well. It was a pretty simple design originally, and this version has basically added a few features that have been requested along the way by its customers, and some others that have been added by Philips that makes it a lot nicer and easier to use. The biggest change you'll see on this product over the previous version is the hue of the light. This version of the Philips light does offer more of a red tint, and it aims to mimic the sunrise or sunset. So it goes from a very bright summer day to your golden hour photography moment, kind of golden shade, and all the way down to a very dark red that you would see on a sunrise, or a sunset in that case. Now that mode is set not for every feature, but for the relaxation and sunset feature times. So there's about 3 different modes on here, and I'll go through them with you. The prominent and the biggest ones that are on here is you have this sunrise wake up, which is basically the light comes on, and I can show you what that looks like here. The light will come on and it will slowly get brighter, so it'll look somewhat like this, and then either full brightness. Now I know that's messing the video up, and I apologize. I'm not sure of a way to get around that at all, so I'm going to limit the amount of time I have the light on for everyone's pleasure, I guess. This comes with different wake up sounds, so an improvement of this is that when you do set the alarm on here, it does come with 7 different sounds. It is pretty easy to set up. As you go through it, it brings you through the menu and is pretty self-explanatory. If you skip that and miss it, you can easily go through. So we have here the clock, we have the home button, and the time alarm set for. You can have up to 2 alarms on this at once, and you can turn them on or off as you please. There's only really 2 interface buttons on here. We have the one on the screen right here, and there's also a button here that activates the snooze or the light on or off. Tapping it with your hand turns the light on, as you can see here, and turn it off. If you have an audio cable plugged in, it will also activate or turn off the music if it's already playing. So we'll start by clicking here. It lights up a little bit to give you some display, and just to show you some of the sounds that are offered. So we'll go into alarm, and you can choose on or off by clicking here, and then alarm sounds are here. This is settings. So you can choose how bright you want it with this button. You can go in to change the time here, and the sounds here. So by default it has a nature sound. You also choose the radio or no sounds if you just want the light. If you do want the nature sound, there are 7 different versions that are mainly birds. There is this one, birds and a cow for the Alps, a yoga kind of tune, and back to the bird sounds. That's the alarm, and again you can go up to 2 alarms, and you set the time. Very simple to use, and as you hit that, you can choose how long you want the sun to rise for. So we're going to go back into settings, and you choose how long here. Oops. You'll choose how, there's a bright light coming on, as you can see, and we'll choose how long here. Let me see if I can get rid of that. No. We'll choose how long here by clicking here, and it gives us, that's an option for the music, so you can select the radio or audio. And then if we go back to alarm, settings, brightness, how long you want the sunrise to be. So it's going to display here, we can go up or down. We'll change how long it takes for it to come on. It will basically take that time to go from the darkest to the brightest, and will slowly wake you up. At the very end, it will then activate the alarm system. If you click the snooze button at the top, which is right here, then the sound goes off, the light stays on. It tries to keep you awake, obviously. The other big feature, again, with the tap snooze, We have the FM radio that's involved. There is a little antenna. It's decent coverage. Nothing crazy or spectacular, but if your radio in your house gets it, this will pick it up too. You can also activate a reading light. So if we click on the home button and then we go to light mode, you can just choose how bright you want it and it will go to that brightness. Now that doesn't give you the red hue, it only gives you the white hue. So it goes from a very nice warm color to a very bright middle of the day kind of LED color. Not a blue LED, but more of a yellow LED shade. It's not very strainful in the eyes, it is a nice shade of it. It's a warm light, I would say. You have the sunset simulation. So if you go down over here and we go to relaxation or unwind, you have on the left hand side the sunset. So what that does is it starts at a very bright, that bright white I was telling you, that was kind of 2-degree warm white, but still bright. And it'll take it all the way down to the very, very dark red and then off. And you can choose how long you want to go over, anywhere from 5 minutes to 60 minutes. You also have relax breathe. When I originally actually purchased this, I found it very difficult to figure out what relax breathe actually was. And I actually thought that based on the design and on the back of this, there being this here, I thought that was a fan intake and that this would be the fan coming out and that it kind of eased you to sleep with air patterns. It actually is not that. There is no fan on this. What it is instead, it instead just goes, the light goes on and off in a quick way. You can set anywhere from 4 to 10 breaths per minute and the light will come up as you're supposed to breathe in and go down as it wants you to breathe out. And it will just guide you through breathing. It doesn't link with any apps, and there's no Bluetooth on this, so it can't link with any meditation apps. I think that would have been a very useful feature on here. They definitely could have offered an app that would have paired on that could have helped you with meditation or with anything else like that. And I can think of a few meditation apps that would have paired well with this, but that might be for future versions. Again, no Bluetooth in this right now. And I'm thinking that one that probably would have done the best is Mindspace. If this had linked with Mindspace, they could have done an auditory connection through the Bluetooth speaker and then provide light simulation as well on top of that. In that relaxation, you also have sounds. So as that sunset's coming down and it's going from bright to dark, you have different sounds there. So the big ones are the waves and the trees. And then in the other one here, if I'll go over to it, so we go to unwind, sounds, nature, we have the ocean, and we have rain. And if we go over to the breathing you can choose light, as you can see right here, going up, all the way really bright, and back down, breath out. Or you can choose sound instead. It's not both, it's one or the other. And again, you can choose how long you want that to go on for. And if you'd rather have music, you can have music. And the sound is just one different sound. Again, just the waves, and they'll come in and go out. So it advertises 3 sounds, but really it's two sounds, and one of the sounds is played twice. There is another unique benefit of this that's not in the previous one, is there's a battery backup in here, up to 8 hours. So if the power for whatever reason goes out in your house or gets disconnected, the alarm will still go off as long as it's within 8 hours. So if you're going to bed, you're basically set, as long as the power's not out before you go to bed. It won't do the light thing. It will just play a beeping sound to help wake you up. Nothing fancy, but it will wake you up because of the built-in battery. Do give it some time to charge. Obviously, there's battery in there. You can't just plug it in for 2 seconds and unplug it and expect the alarm to work. That also being said, depending on what you're doing, you could bring it with you. You could charge it and use it as an alarm, or if you know it's power outages that happen, it would still set you up, and you should be fine with that. On the front here, you can adjust the contrast of this, just in the settings. It's pretty basic. Adjust the time, adjust the contrast, and adjust if you want the clicking sound or not. Pretty simple, really, in that case. And not much else here to go over in the settings. I've kind of gone over them all. The radio has 5 different presets for channels, and again, you can use that, listen to it that way as well. On the back here, new to the Philips lights, we have a charger for cell phones, so you can plug in a cell phone here to charge at night, which is quite handy actually. You have the speaker, of course, and you have an audio in. So if you wanted to play music through here, you'd plug it in, and you can just tap up here, or tap on the front and click the music button, and it will play that as well. So pretty easy that way. It does do stuff on release, so if you just hold it down, it has sometimes a second option. So there's the radio activated, so it can recognize those touches. Go to settings, again, nothing will happen here. You've got a release to do it, so quick touch. Think kind of like the iPhone with the multi-touch on it. You have your contrast. It will change the contrast and how bright you want it. Hope you guys can still see that. But overall, it's a pretty straightforward product. Its price point is a little, in my mind, is a little bit high compared to its previous ones for the changes. It does have the battery backup, so I do respect the cost of the manufacturing has gone up. And it is one of the only lights on the market that you could purchase at a retail store, the Philips branded ones that have this light and alarm feature. I think kind of the sweet point, or sweet spot for this price point would be $199. And I think if you're able to find it at that price point, I think it would be a good purchase indeed. And I'm sure they do go on sale. Again, the only real thing that I would want in this would be that Bluetooth connection and that linking to maybe an Android software so you could link it to an app. Where an app can control that light. Doesn't necessarily need to be third-party IPA connections, but even if Philips just had an app that allowed you to have some meditation in there that you can control in the app, or provided some more remote control or even API linking if they did want to offer that. I think that would be the next step naturally for them to take. But again, this device is fully functional and works well for its intended purposes. It gets quite bright in the morning to wake you up. The alarms and the sounds are quite functional and good. They're loud. It does get really loud. I was worried originally on the back looking at the speaker that the speaker quality wouldn't be too good, but no. For the price you're paying, it is quite a good speaker, and I definitely can't complain about that. I was actually quite impressed with it. Overall, I would give this a 4 out of 5 stars. I think I would give it that 5 out of 5 if that starting price point was a tad lower at that $199 range in Canadian dollars. And I think if it had that third-party connection, it would have helped out as well. But I wouldn't hold that up. I'd give that as a bonus star if they offered that. Otherwise, it's a nice product. And in terms of this little hole in the center, which I'm sure all you guys are wondering about, the manual doesn't give any indication of what it's for. And I'm not sure. But using the device and playing with it, the only thing that jumped forward that I think it makes sense to have is as the light comes on, which I'll do right here. As we turn the light on, it gets quite bright. And by having that black circle in the center, it provides a spot that you can focus on without really, it makes it easier to focus. And I think that's what it's for, in my mind. It does provide a little bit of an arc in terms of light as well, but it does do a decent job at filling the room as well. I mean, there's a very subtle arc on it, but I think that's what it is for, in my mind. Again, Philips doesn't mention what it's intended to go for. It could just be simply design, but it provides a very good spot to look at if you are using it for the meditation and the breathing exercises, or to help you go to sleep. You can just stare at that center black hole in the center, and the whole kind of world around you as you're looking at that gets more red and gets more somber and then gets darker. Again, overall, excellent product. Would recommend it. And again, 4 out of 5 stars. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for more.